Hey everyone, this question has come up a few times recently, and I kind of had it myself because I was putting some things on Etsy ads in my digital shop just to gather some data. And I noticed that they weren't really showing my ads, so I increased the ad budget and they still weren't showing the ads. And I remembered that in a couple of investor presentations, Rachel Glazer, who's the CFO of Etsy, had mentioned that they have a cutoff for ads. Like if you don't get a specific return on ad spend that Etsy thinks you should get, they don't show your ads as much. So if you're advertising something that's not seasonal or it's not popular right now or whatever, if that thing doesn't get a specific return on ad spend, then Etsy will stop showing those ads as much because they have other things they could be showing that will get a better return on ad spend. And she did not say what that cutoff was. I think it has to be pretty low because they definitely will show my ads even if I'm getting a 0 times return on ad spend. So that could be one reason why they're not showing your ads. Now, the other thing is how much should you be spending on Etsy ads? And a lot of people will put up $1 a day. That used to work when you could limit your cost per click to 2 cents because that would get you at least 50 clicks, which would give Etsy enough information and it should get you one sale with a normal conversion rate for e-commerce. But $1 these days will only probably get you about 3 to 4 clicks, depending on how much they're spending on your ad. And that's not enough information for Etsy to see who's interacting with them. And it's definitely not enough for you to get a sale based on a normal conversion rate. So you really need to spend more than $1. You probably need to spend more than $5. But the thing is that when you set your budget on Etsy ads, they might not spend all of it. And I have mine right now set to $15 a day while I'm gathering this information. It's only spending like 30 cents a day because people aren't clicking on these ads because they're not showing them because the return on ad spend is lower than they want. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but the higher you set your budget, the more likely it is that Etsy will show your ads, maybe. It just depends on whether you start selling things or not. So there's no real good answer to this that's a hard and fast rule. You have to figure it out for yourself. Don't be afraid to set your ad budget really high to begin with, but make sure that you can spend that because if you're telling Etsy, yes, spend $500 a day, they can spend $500 a day and you might have to pay them $500 a day. So make sure that you can afford it, but set the budget high if you're going to try Etsy ads just to get that information coming in, and it will be more likely that you'll make some sales based on that to begin with. Now, having said that, I do not use Etsy ads, and I'm using them right now just to gather this information and to do a kind of little experiments for the eShop program, but it's not something that I do on a normal basis, and this is not in my main shop. I don't use Etsy ads in my main shop because they are not worth the money. I don't get the return on ad spend that I want, and it's like throwing money down the toilet. So I don't use them. If you want to use them, you have to price your budget a little bit higher to begin with just to see what happens. But keep an eye on it. Don't spend money that you don't have. That's a bad idea. There's nothing guaranteed when you're spending ad money. It is not guaranteed to get you that amount of revenue back. And just because you do get sales, it doesn't mean that you're making a profit. Even if you are quote unquote on paper making a profit on Etsy ads, you have to take all your numbers into account. And it could be that it says that you're making money on ads, but you're actually losing money and you're working for free. That's not the goal. Okay, so just pay attention to your budget, but you do have to set it a little bit higher than we used to because it costs a lot more to run ads now. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and I will talk to you later.